So, one of the biggest questions we get, you guys, is about how we set up our rifles. Josh and I are here at, we're at Blue Water Sportsman's Association where we shoot, and out here running some drills, running both of our builds through, honestly, a whole bunch of different shit. So, really good opportunity to talk about what we set up and why we set it up this way, honestly. So, I guess I'll just start with mine. Yeah. So, this is, first and foremost, nobody freaks out.
All the guns are clear, everybody chill.
Everyone chill. So this is my 11.5-inch Mk18-ish build. And some of those purists.
Cloners would scream just hearing you call it a Mk18, but it's
they'll get real butthurt about it. This actually started life, at least the upper did, as a full palmetto gun. And from there, I wound up going with a cheap quad rail. Don't get cheap rails, they're terrible. Upgraded to this BCM, and actually the barrel at the time was a 10.5, which is a little bit too short for the rail. If you guys have messed with BCM, when they say it's a 10.5-inch rail, it's actually closer to like 11. So I swapped out to a Roscoe 11.5-inch barrel, which actually do a little bit more for you performance-wise. Not a ton, but it's not gonna hurt anything, right? And then eventually wound up swapping out to a arrow lower. But I'll just walk kind of tip to butt.
I knew you were going to say that.
Why not? Everyone understands.
Everybody knows what it means now, right?
Yep. So I am running, this is a Dead Air Sandman S.
I was afraid that was going to burn you.
No, it's too cold out.
It's been a minute since we
It is a balmy 36 degrees out here in Michigan today.
Just cold enough to where it's still raining instead of snowing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Miserable as shit. So this is a 30 cal can. These are great, honestly. I know a lot of guys run, I know you're waiting on a Surefire. A lot of guys like Surefire. I got the Dead Air off a recommendation from a buddy. So far, have been absolutely pleased with it. A little heavy, but that's kind of the price you pay.
It's way about the same as the RC2s.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you notice
an ounce or so.
A huge difference. I go with the 3-prong flash hider with mine.
Yep.
Some guys like brakes, some guys like war comms. I think you're running a war comm.
This is a 3-prong, but
3-prong.
They're actually both very similar.
Some guys like it with the comms. Not my thing. Moving down from there, this is a Surefire M640 dual fuel with the 100 Concepts light cap on here, and their shock collar. I run the 100 Concept stuff on all my lights, guys. If you're trying to be absolutely effective, you need to have something that's going to cover up the reflector here. It's just good common sense. So whether it's one of their caps or something else, you should totally run it. Behind that here, this is a D-Ball A3. I know civilian lasers suck, but as far as civilian lasers go, this isn't a bad unit. The A3 and the D2 are pretty much, I'd say, probably top of the civilian market. Not to say that's necessarily great for this, but certainly not a bad choice. Haven't had any issues with it. And I have both of these kind of slaved together with the Surefire dual pressure pad, so I can activate the light with the back pad and the laser with the front pad. It's just more convenient. Some guys like the thumb button and then a regular pressure pad or whatever. Different strokes, whatever makes you happy. Moving back, cannon forward, as is the way, is the BCM grip. And I do use camo form to kind of put this all together. If any of you guys have shot quad rails for any length of time, you know that they like to chew your hands up. So I like to have something a little bit softer there. And it only sticks to itself, so it's really not that bad. Moving back here, my optics setup, which is gonna give some people some heartburn, is the Kinu riser from Overbore Systems. Running a EXPS2 from EOTech. Right now, I have a 3 on the way. Shout out Joe, thank you. And an EOTech 3X magnifier here, again, with just some camo form because I haven't had time to spray paint it yet. Moving back, charging handle is the Raptor from Radian, which is just fucking outstanding. Like, it's my absolute favorite. I run it on everything. Let's see, Law Tactical folder for funsies. And then moving back, B5 Systems stock, BCM grip, you know, spray painted it like the BCM grip, probably my absolute favorite. And then I do run Magpul QDs, the Ferro Slingster. I run the Ferro Sling on all my guns. It's the first sling I ever bought, first real sling I ever bought. And I've trained with it, I like it. I haven't had any problems with it, so I haven't really felt the need to switch.
You can't really go wrong with the adjustable sling market right now. There's so many great ones. It's just down to preference.
It's T-Rex, Drop 6, there's
Ferro, Viking,
Blue Force gear is decent, you know. It just depends on what you like and how you want to run it. Tons of options. What about yours?
So our builds are very similar. It's just down to the minute differences of what each of us like. But honestly, since we've been training together, they've become more and more similar over the last like 9 months.
Yeah.
I started out training with this group. I had an Aimpoint Pro. This build has changed quite a bit since. I'll roll in some pictures, but it started as regular lower with PSA upper, 10.5 front sight post. I wanted that Mod Zero drip, which I still love.
I started at the front sight post.
Yeah,
too.
the early GWatt. I mean the block was this
Mod Zero. This is Mod 1.
This is the Mod 1 technically with the Daniel
Yeah.
Defense rail. But that original fixed front sight post I love the look of.
Yep.
The downside is you don't get as much length for attachments. So running a laser, and I had a 2-piece rail. It wasn't the Knights one where it like actually locks in and it's not free floated. So there's some negatives there. Could you put a laser on it and still get it done? Probably. But for the length alone, I liked going to this just so I can get more reach. I mean, the gas block is right here, so my reach was kind of limited.
Yeah, you run out of space real quick.
Yeah, so literally, I mean, we have laser light combo, three prong. It's just down to the attachments that we like. So I run Surefire. Our buddy has an RC2 that we've been playing with, and I'm really excited for mine to get approved eventually, sometime next year. 3-prong or the brake, if you're gonna run it completely suppressed all the time. The brakes are great, but I wouldn't run it.
Don't put your friends through that.
Yeah, the short barrels underneath head cover and everything. The brakes are just so rude.
Yeah.
I have Hollow Sun, and I like it a lot. I was
wrong
very
with it.
hesitant. I bought this used on TaxSwap for $400, thinking if I get a Hollow Sun and it's gonna break, I don't want to spend full price on it. That was
What did you spend for that?
$400.
Yeah.
400.
So as somebody who didn't want to buy Hollow Sun and spent 3 times that on this laser, guys, civilian lasers are restricted on their output.
Yeah.
So whether it's a Hollow Sun or a Steiner, your illuminator is gonna have the same power. Your laser's gonna have the same power. So
Yeah.
nothing wrong with it at
So
all.
this is just their laser unit, and then I run a Vampire from Surefire for the IR. Now you might be
Big
thinking
brain.
like, oh, then you got to switch between 2 buttons or 2 pressure pads, and then you can't run them both at the same time. Emissary just came out with this awesome, it's called the alternator. It goes over 2 mod buttons. I can press, I'm not going to turn it on. I can press forward for just the laser, back for the white light, and then the middle button will activate both. So I can get PEC 15-like performance out of this unit.
How did they go about making sure you know which one is which when you're shooting that like in low light?
Oh, there's little,
Yeah.
I don't know what you call it, texturing
Texturing,
differences.
stippling.
Honestly, it's a training thing. You'll get used to how you want it set up. I wanted laser forward. You can do either.
Yeah.
So laser forward is really natural, and then I have to deliberately move over to activate white light without changing my shooting grip at all. And then the middle is kind of right in the comfy spot. So yeah, I was hesitant about Hollow Sun. You'll see videos from different instructors that use these things as their spare laser for students at their courses that don't have a unit yet, and they have thousands of rounds on them. And this thing has been through rain and summertime, FTX, overnights, winter. I haven't like thrown it down the stairs, but I haven't babied it either. So I'm really happy with it so far. That's all I'll really say on this. The Vampire is a Surefire head with an Aerosocket body, the Surefire tail cap with a little redundancy switch. And then the Unity switches go underneath the alternator. Daniel Defense quad rail is super bomb-proof and sturdy, so I like that a lot. You can go with VCM or Midwest Industries, Geisley rails if you want M-Lock.
Yeah, there's some good ones out there.
Yeah, Ripcord has their awesome rail.
If you're looking to build a Mk18, do not go with the $50 rail you find on a random website. It is going to be
It'll
twice
probably
as
be
fat.
It'll probably be out of spec too. Like
Yeah.
your rails might not even accept attachments. Your QDs will probably fall out of them.
Been there.
And then I bought this little, I don't know what brand this is, but this is a T-Rex little QD switch. It's been great. He kind of turned me over to EOTech because I was running an Aimpoint for a while, and then I wanted better night vision performance once we dove into nods, and the EXPS3 is probably my favorite dot. Battery life guys will complain about, but this thing shuts off. So you just have to turn it on when you're about to use it. So as a home defense gun, I'd probably recommend a Hollow Sun or an Aimpoint where you can keep it on all the time and not worry about it. But as my favorite optic, this thing is awesome. G33, more than half of this stuff I've gotten secondhand off of TaxSwap or Reddit. I bought the upper off Reddit. All of that's TaxSwap. The alternator and switches are new, I got those. And then EOTech I bought from a guy local, and this I got from a dude in my unit. So the stuff works great.
You're running for a charging handle?
Yeah, so this is the PRI. I agree that the Radian is the best charging handle for feel, but this thing just has a little bit better gas busting or whatever. It's got ports on the side, it's raised, and then it has ports on the bottom. I'll insert some B-roll looking at it. And then I put on their combat latch to make it feel sort of like the Radian, where it's extended and has some bite to it.
Yep.
You just got to train with what you got. I didn't like it at first, and then I just kept training with it, and I don't even think about it.
It's not that big a deal.
Yeah, it's really not a huge deal. As for ambi, like, I can use my other hand and just reach across and still use the thing.
There's ways to train around it.
Yeah, it's all about training and just using what you like. I have the, what's that called? I'm trying to blank.
Bad lever.
Bad lever. If you don't like it, don't use it. I use it more for locking my bolt to the rear than I do for reloads. You'll see a lot of the footage.
Really
I do a standard reload. It has a little bit of an extended paddle, so it feels good. If I need it for a reload, I can still use it, but mainly I'm using it to lock my bolt to the rear for malfunctions and whatnot. And then I have a law folder on a 300 blackout build. The pros and cons to that, obviously, you can significantly shorten your gun and hide it in places.
This started as a pistol when I first got it.
Yeah.
So the law folder actually extended your length of pull,
Yes.
which I'm a
Because
big
pistol
guy.
braces are shorter.
Yeah, and it helped me out tremendously. Now that it's an actual SPR for realsies, it's less of a, it's just a cool thing.
Yeah.
Guys like having
It does add some significant weight to the back of the gun. That can be a pro or a con.
Yeah.
But there's nobody ever talked about that when I was looking at getting one.
Mm-hmm.
They all were just saying, cool, it folds the gun and it
Yep.
works really well.
Yep.
It does add some weight to the back, so just keep that in mind. The VCM stock is my favorite. I've thought about trying some of the wider,
You have a wide one. Yeah.
the wider VCM one. Honestly, I just have it on all my guns and they all feel the same, so I haven't changed it because I don't feel the need to. I've used the old, was it the Crane stock that the B5 has a crowd pod?
Yeah, the SOP mod.
One of my old M4s had that, and it felt good to shoot, especially with an ACOG, but actually like manipulating the round kit and stuff, I like slimmer stocks. That was about as fat as I would go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Would be that guy. So it's all about preference, guys. I mean, our builds are very, very similar. I wanted 10.3 because the ballistics are still closely good enough. Obviously 11.5 gives you a little more dwell time and all that.
Mm-hmm.
People say 10.3 is dead. I just wanted the shortest gun I could to put a suppressor on, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
And we're ringing steel at 200. So
What are you running for bolt carrier?
this is just all factory down the defense.
Okay.
So this is just a complete Mk18 upper with the Dana Defense bolt carrier. I think the guy got it from Brownells because you can get it complete without a muzzle device, and then he put the 3 prong on it.
Sure.
So
I'm running the, this is the bootleg. This is.
yeah, so you've done a lot
Yeah.
of changes to your gas system. This is all fixed, and I just added buffer weight.
Yeah, a lot of guys said that they swore by the Roscoe barrels for their gassing and didn't have any problems with it. And technically I didn't. It ran, but I was ejecting at like 2 o'clock. It was running pretty well.
one of the most violent systems I've shot.
So I did experiment with Springco springs and weights and things like that. What ended up doing it for me, this is bootleg, this is their adjustable bolt carrier group.
Yep.
So it turned up to, out of their 4 settings, it's number 3. And then just a carbine buffer system, nothing crazy there.
Yep.
And this thing runs like a fucking typewriter now. It's really good now.
We changed it in the summer, and it hasn't switched on us or done anything weird.
Yep, haven't had any problems since.
So we'll see. A few years, we'll see if it's still holding up.
I just-
Surefire makes one too. I think it might have been discontinued, but that one's very available.
I didn't want to try to be one of those guys that's got to get in their handguard with a tool to adjust gassing or take the whole thing apart to adjust gas. This has worked really, really well for anybody who's also having gassing issues. It's like $200, which isn't actually that bad for a good bolt
The
carrier.
majority of nice bolt carriers are that much or more.
Yeah. And this had the Sage Dynamics stamp of approval, which, you know, Aaron tests the shit out of his equipment, and I trust everything he does, so whoever that's with you guys. Yeah, I mean, so a lot of similarities, slight differences, you know, I mean, camo form in some spots. This is Howie's hockey tape. I use this on the grips of all my guns just because I like having a little something there. You do not, no big deal. And you're running, what's your sling? How many you got to your sling?
T-Rex.
T-Rex sling.
On the close QDs.
Yep.
Here
Front
and
and back of the receiver.
I've run both. My longer gun, I have it attached to the stock. They're both fine. It's just for in kit running around, it's nice having that stock free, so it's not really snagging on anything.
Yep.
I like both. For in the woods, I'll do either of them. I mean,
yeah, I think if you guys are looking at building a short gun, the Mk18-ish route is the way to go. Quad rails heavy.
I like quad rails on short guns. I like M-lock rails on long guns. That's just me though.
Yeah, and they're durable.
They're really durable.
Beat the shit out of it.
And they can heat up a lot more than an M-lock rail.
Yeah.
They take longer to cool down, but for short guns, Picatinny's my favorite.
Yep. And did you swap out? I swapped out to the Magpul trigger guard.
Yeah, when I assembled it, this was a strip lower from Griffin Armament, and then it's just a standard. Oh, we didn't even talk about triggers. This is the, you were just talking about it.
The ALS.
The ACT.
Yeah, the Advanced Combat Trigger from ALG.
ALG.
Yeah.
It's just a polished mil spec that's a little lighter. It's nice. You have a regular mil spec.
Yep, this is just a straight up mil spec that came in the arrow lower.
Yep.
I'm actually looking at moving into one of those in the near future here because I like that it just cleans it up a little bit. Again, training is going to fix so much. You know, the trigger's not going to solve everything, but it is personal preference. So you do you, whatever you like to run. And then you have a backup sight. I don't have a backup sight.
Yeah, I'm missing the front sight because I'm switching some stuff around in builds. Like, it's nice to have a backup sighting system. We also have lasers with viz settings. I will eventually put that front sight back up here, or maybe I'll get a riser one day and then I won't have any backups. We'll see.
Hopefully. Yeah. So hopefully this answers you guys' questions. I feel like everybody does these videos, but it's also probably one of the most interesting things to see, you know, how people set up their blasters and why.
Yep.
I know we went to the HTA event out in Pennsylvania. Probably the coolest part. So you know everybody's running and why.
I like in a group of guys, you don't have to, everybody's going to run what they want to run, but we like having some commonality when it comes to the colors of kit we're running. Or now a lot of the guys in our group are moving to EOTech. I think only one of the guys doesn't have one now.
Yeah.
Which it's not really that important, but it's nice if we're all training, especially at distance, we can talk about the reticle and what it does, and
holds and data. And
we're all running
like
3x magnifiers. We can talk about that. It's nice having some similarities in a team.
Yep. I agree.
So all get better together. So
Yeah.
get out and train.
Absolutely. Hopefully this answers you guys' questions, and like Josh said, get out and train.